The theft of my grandfather's scarf broke the last barrier of my disbelief. They weren't just observing me, they were actively involving my most cherished memories in their vile ritual. I had to know which member of my family had betrayed me, or at least how they rationalized it. I waited until evening, when my father was reading his paper in the living room and my younger brother, Mark, was on the porch playing a handheld game. I walked into the living room, scarf-less and furious. "Did you take my grandfather's scarf?" I demanded, standing over my father. He lowered the paper slowly. "What are you talking about, Ethan?" "The striped wool scarf. The one Granddad wore on the railroad. It's on the scarecrow in the square. It's gone from the garage. Did you take it?" "Why would I take a dusty old thing?" he asked, his voice flat. "Because you want me gone," I yelled, my voice cracking with years of repressed frustration. "You're tired of my ambition, my questions, my failure to toe the line. You and the council, you all decided I was the disruption, the bad apple, and you used the Sentinel to tell me to leave. Did you give them the scarf to make the likeness perfect?" Mark came in from the porch, alarmed. "What is going on in here?" "Stay out of it, Mark," I snapped. My father stood up, his height suddenly imposing. "You need help, Ethan. You're spiraling. You need to leave town, get away for a while. It's not a suggestion anymore, it's an absolute necessity. You're scaring Sarah, you're upsetting the neighbors, and you're making a fool of yourself." "I am not leaving." I stood my ground. "This is bullying, plain and simple. What happens if I stay past Halloween? What do you all do then? Do you burn the scarecrow and me with it?" Mark stepped in front of my father. "Don't talk to him like that. And don't be ridiculous. It's just a tradition. If you're so worried, leave. Go. Haven's End doesn't want to fight you, but if you stay and keep this up, people will stop being polite. They will freeze you out. They'll ruin your credit. They'll call the health department on your house. They'll use the rules they made to make your life misery until you finally decide the city isn't so bad after all." The chilling part was his tone. Mark wasn't angry, he was matter of fact, like he was reciting the terms of a contract. "You know too much about what they're planning, Mark," I said, looking from my brother to my father. "You're in on it, too, aren't you? Did you help? Did you tell them about the boots I lost? The glasses I kept in the car?" My father stepped around Mark, his eyes cold and distant. "We didn't have to tell them anything, Ethan. They just know. This town has eyes and ears, and it knows when someone is out of sync. It knows when someone needs to be corrected. The scarf, the boots, the fleece. Those details simply confirmed what everyone already understood about you." He put a hand on my shoulder, not in comfort, but restraint. "The Sentinel is a gift. It's a chance to leave with dignity before you lose everything. Don't be a fool. Halloween is 6 days away. Use them to pack." I shrugged off his hand, the last thread connecting me to them snapping. "You know what? Screw Haven's End, and screw your twisted sense of peace. If I leave, it won't be with dignity. It'll be because I realize I don't belong in a town run by people who believe silence and conformity are worth more than family." I turned and walked out, grabbing my keys. I had one last hope, Liam. I needed a distraction, an escape route, and maybe, just maybe, a final bit of loyalty. I found Liam at his store, closing up. He looked pale and tense. "I need your help," I said immediately. "I need your old pickup truck. Just for a night, and I need you to tell anyone who asks that I'm gone to my sister's place." Liam stared at me, then at the street, then back at me. "Ethan, I can't. My dad is on the council, too. They'll know, and if they suspect I helped you, I'll be next." "They'll be next?" I whispered, finally seeing the fear in his eyes was for himself, not me. "Is that what they do, Liam? They pass the scarecrow around until everyone falls in line?" He nodded, shamefaced. "Last month, I had a zoning complaint about my delivery bay. My father told me the only way to make it go away was to cooperate. I'm sorry, Ethan. I can't risk it. They told me I could lose the store. The betrayal was complete. My friend was protecting his business by throwing me to the wolves." "So you're all in on it," I said, a terrible calm settling over me. "All of you. Fine. I don't need your truck. But I won't stay here and wait for your perfect little town to asphyxiate me." I walked away from him and didn't look back. I had 6 days, and I had to vanish, leaving no trace for the eyes and ears of Haven's End to follow. The next few days were a blur of cold panic and meticulous planning. I told Sarah I was going to a job interview a state away and would be back before Halloween. I knew she didn't believe me, but she didn't argue. She just looked relieved. I packed 3 duffel bags, clothes, cash, and documents, and hid them in the abandoned shed behind the old grist mill. I learned that the sentinel was moved every night at dusk to stand guard over the square, then brought back out early in the morning by 2 anonymous town employees. It was a symbolic lock on the town. If I was going to leave, it had to be on the night of Halloween, the night the town expected me to be gone, or the night the irritations would begin. I planned to use the cover of the town's annual bonfire and parade to slip out unnoticed. Halloween night arrived, cold and windy. I said goodbye to Sarah, kissing her cheek. Her eyes were empty, and she wouldn't meet mine. "Be careful, Ethan," was all she said. It wasn't a warning about the town, but a plea for me to avoid trouble. By 8 p.m., the square was a chaos of costumes, bonfires, and shrieking kids. The Harvest Sentinel was at its post, illuminated by the leaping flames. Tonight, they had added one more detail, a cheap, silver ring on its straw hand. The same ring I had planned to give Sarah, which I'd kept in my bedside drawer. The sight sent a fresh wave of terror through me, confirming the depths of their surveillance. I slipped out the back door, cutting through the shadows and back alleys toward the gristmill. I heard the distant, rhythmic drumming of the parade, a tribal, heavy beat that felt like the town's heart pumping me out of its system. I reached the shed, grabbed my bags, and started walking the long route to the state highway. The plan was to walk 10 miles until I reached the next town, where I could flag down an early morning bus. Half an hour into my walk, I heard a sound behind me, the low, rumbling engine of an old pickup truck. I ducked behind a thicket of brush, my heart hammering against my ribs. The truck slowed, then stopped. 2 figures got out, my father, Robert, and Mark. They were wearing old farm jackets and holding heavy flashlights. "He's not smart enough to leave on the main road," I heard my father say, his voice tight. "He's trying to cut through the old logging trail. I know how he thinks." "He'll be back," Mark said. "He always comes back when things get hard." "Not this time," my father replied. "He won't have a choice. We found the papers he left behind. The house deeds, the insurance. We just need to make sure he doesn't interfere with the transfer. Haven's End needs that mill land, Mark." And he was standing in the way. They started walking toward the mill, away from my position, searching the wrong trail. It was an overwhelming relief, but also a brutal final confirmation. They hadn't just wanted me gone, they had set the gears in motion to take my possessions the moment I left. They were securing the town's future at the expense of their own flesh and blood. I waited until their flashlights vanished, then sprinted. I ran for what felt like hours, bags digging into my shoulders, powered only by the chilling image of the sentinel and the cold betrayal of my family. I finally stumbled onto the state highway just as the first gray light of dawn broke. I didn't stop until I saw the yellow lights of a diner in the next town. I never went back to Haven's End. I sent one final, untraceable message to Sarah weeks later. A brief note telling her to sell the house, that I was gone, and to never contact me. I changed my name, moved across the country, and learned how to live without roots. To this day, every November 1st, I check the satellite images of Haven's End on a fake account. The Harvest Sentinel is always there, and sometimes, even from a blurry photo, I swear I can see the same blue fleece, the same boots, and the same vacant, accusatory eyes staring out, waiting for the next person the town decides to purge. I know I was the last, but I can't shake the feeling that somewhere, out there, the real scarecrow is still me.